Gods and goddesses in training, welcome back to the channel. It is Uncle Makara back at it again from another dimension. And did I mention that you gotta hit the like button? And if you don't hit the like button, then we about to pretend into a world of pretense. And I'm about to actually start rapping to some random beat. Let's just choose one. Okay, so this shout out to, I love to shout out different producers as well. So this one is Drake times Lil Uzi beat called Lick. It is by L. Lewis. Okay. Shout out L. Lewis. Okay. Okay, that's an ad. Boom. Okay. Gotta raise the volume. Upward spiral. I'm my own rival, upward spiral. I know that I just wanna take it spinal, or to the top of the head, it's a pineal. Cause you know that I'm about to go in vinyl. Yeah, I'm about to take it all, old school, new school. Cause you know I am not a new fool, but I'm just a fool on the tarot deck. Cause you know that I don't have feet embarrassed yet in the bed. Every single time that I flex, I go to a different dimension. I go to a whole different realm. I go to inside my head, but then I progress. I'm grounded. I feel it in the bottom of my stomach. And I know that we about to have some luncheon, munching on your munchkins. Every single moment I just be hunching over. Cause you know that I feel repugnant as an old man. But I know that I am just a nomad, flow man. Cause you know that I am so glad. I am so glad I'm a part of this program. Cause you know that I have got myself deprogrammed, motherfuckers know that. Cause they try to hit the soul bag, but they don't have to flow fast. Cause you know that I'm the omnipotent person inside the legend. Cause then he feels like I am legend. Never giving up, cause you know he's lit quick. Every single time he's on a kick flip. Every single moment it's like Hadouken and this shit, that shit. I don't even know, but I'm not that Chris Patrick. You can get your ass kicked if you know that link freaking tasted. Cause you know that I am freaking magic. Oh Lord. Of course. Okay. Just warming up, okay? Alright guys. Tackling depression, okay? Tackling depression. I've been through depression many times in my life. I want to speak on it. It's a personal topic. And it's an issue for a lot of young men, a lot of young women who are watching this right now. You know, you live in an age where they tell you to be more depressed. They tell you to be emo. You know, they tell you to glamorize, romanticize, and popularize sadness. And first of all, fuck that shit, okay? First and foremost, why don't we give more attention to our own positivity internally, man? Understand this. Because when I was going through this journey, man, I didn't know myself, right? My identity was in a crisis mode. So I would be growing up trying to figure out who I really was. And it is only going into the depths of my masculine edge that I slowly started to figure this thing out, right? Before that, I was just walking around in circles. But what I did not realize is that circle was a spiral. And the spiral was me coming back to me going inwards. Like take any movie character, right? In the hero's journey, it's always them coming back to themselves, right? And that's what I experienced in my own life. I came up with a technique called TPM. Okay. This was during the senior year of high school, right? Where I finally cracked the code. I figured out that idea and I realized I'm going to fake it till I make it. Okay. I am going to allow myself to adopt a completely different character because the character I was playing, bro, it wasn't getting me the results. Okay. I wouldn't get asked out to prom. Okay. I wouldn't have certain things happen to me. But as I started tapping into that flow state, that raw primal essence within myself, within my own nature, going on stage, outperforming everybody, you know, going on stage and performing for a whole hour and they're telling me they're trying to kick me off, right? Because I'm going for too long. Like that kind of shit that just would propel me and crack my ego down, right? I would also perform on stage. And so I felt this insane level of stage fright when I forgot my lines, right? And when you forget your lines on stage, it's like you kind of have to improvise, right? And in those moments of improvisation, I found my power, I found my flow, I found this intense level of confidence that I would never find with the freedom to be somebody that is not me or not in this construct of my own reality, right? So that's how the foundationally TPM kind of happened, like high school area, right? Shout out to all my drama teachers, Miss Annie, Mr. Roger, all of them. They had a big impact in my theater exploration as well. So then I started to realize, man, there's Goffman, bro. And Goffman is this guy who talks about the presentation of self in everyday life, right? He talks about acting in real life. And that's what I was interested in. I wasn't interested in being an actor and like acting as all these different roles. I wanted to be my own role, create my own character. And that's when I also found IMC Nation, luckily enough, around that right time, after my master's, after all of this, academic journey. And I was given the first PhD title by AZD. Okay. Uh, so understand this. Number one, I want you to really understand something, guys. If you feel like you're breaking down, you're fragmenting, you're splitting yourself up, whereas you've got to be embracing those aspects of yourself. If you feel more shame, it's going to hold all other negative emotions in place. So my advice to you would be just to go all in towards your healing. And that's what I did. I tried everything, bro. I tried everything. Anything I can get my hands on, I would try it. Even if it was dangerous at that time, it didn't matter, right? To me, it was like, I need to get rid of this negative feeling inside, right? So you might want to, I've gotten to the point twice in my life where I wanted to kill myself, and I've understood that, listen, both those times, it's not that I wanted to kill myself, but I wanted to kill the archetype or the character that I've been playing for so long. You see? I didn't want to get rid of me, Sumed, the all, you know, and his connection with the all knowing, right? Like the unknown, the big question mark of who am I? What am I doing here? What's really going on, right? We always go through these questions and they keep coming up. Even if we know the answer, it keeps coming up, right? And so there is this philosophical inquiry that we have, this love of wisdom that we have, that we got to dive into. And self knowledge is the only way, man. Self knowledge is the only way. And you can only get the answers from within. And that's what I understood on this journey. Okay. And Upward Spiral Gang is just a theme, it's a name. It's something that I would say to myself during those times back in the day, where it gave me comfort. It gave me a looking forward to the next moment. We men especially, we're like golden retrievers, right? We need a ball to chase. If we don't have a ball to chase, it's like we're gonna go around in circles. We're gonna start to panic. We're gonna, get into all of these issues. So I understood that 1/3 of my life is going to be work, right, as a man. And I know that I've got to really double down and figure out a way that I love this thing. And I explore different ways out of it, right? So one thing that I would highly recommend if you have depression or you're struggling with symptoms of depression is get outside and start working out. Us, Jehovah Sabbath here. Okay, amazing, man. Yeah, so what I did was during those times, right, I would tell myself Upward Spiral Gang. It wasn't even a movement, right? It wasn't even anything. But at the time, I would just repeat this like an affirmation, okay? And I say affirmation, not mantra. A lot of people confuse those two. Like a mantra is in the metaphysical world, where affirmation is in the physical world, right? And mantras are usually Sanskrit in nature, okay? That's where it was first formed. But yeah, we use the words interchangeably in culture, but I just want to make that difference. So I would say this affirmation, right? Upward spiral or upward spiral gang, upward spiral gang, upward spiral, upward spiral. Every day is getting better, right? And then one of my mentors also introduced the Emile Coué tech of c'est passé, which in French means this too shall pass, right? This is gonna pass. So you do that to pain. You have a shoulder pain. C'est passé, c'est passé. It just sounds better in French, to be honest. But yeah, the phrase was every day in every way is getting better and better. And when you have that intention in your mind, my friends, you will slowly start to notice opportunities coming towards you. Now, it's not necessarily that you're going to grasp those opportunities right away, especially if you're in this anhedonic kind of state, right? Anhedonia is what you feel, well, lack of feeling more so, when you're depressed, right? It's one of those symptoms. Well, it could be other mental illnesses and so forth as well. However, mainly, a lot of people don't understand how to modulate or navigate this thing, right? It's like there's so much science that's contradictory about it. And I think that a lot of people don't understand it because it's a very personal journey. Like our own sadness is a very personal journey, right? With ourselves, it's like we're breaking down alchemically, right? We're going into the dark night to come out with wings, right? It's not that Red Bull gives you wings, it's your own consciousness that does, right? Shout out Red Bull though, even though I don't. I'm not a huge energy drink proponent, but irregardless, right? So anyway, this upward spiral theme served me many times when I was thinking, what really happens, right? That numbing or that anhedonia, when you self-harm, you actually feel something at least. So at least you are remaining conscious again. You're turning the consciousness online, less autopilot, right? Let's say you're pulling out your hair, trichotillomania or whatever it's called, right? So imagine you're doing that, right? Out of stress, out of anxiety. You keep eating it, or maybe, okay? Now, the more conscious you become of the fact that you're doing that you're not doing it just like when you're bored, zoned out, zombied out in your mind, but let's say you had some lotion in your hands. So the next time that you bring it towards eating it, you associate the smell of the lotion to stop. You put your hair back. You get me? So you got to understand there's certain cues that makes you feel sad and more sad and more sad. So if you are setting up kind of a victim mode pity party, landing strip for yourself, of course you're going to stay there, right? But my advice would be get outside, start working out, start shaking the body up. If you are depressed, you need to change your paradigm, okay? The first thing you need to do is change your paradigm. It is not depressed, it is deep rest. You need deep rest from the character that you're not playing, actually. Okay? You're not being the type of person that is your true self. You're putting on the shell, and that's the anhedonia you're experiencing. You're experiencing numbness because it's not even you, right? It's just your thoughts crippling you. And a lot of people say, oh, it's a chemical imbalance. Let's blame it on the chemicals. Sure, yeah. And I'm, a huge proponent of if it is going over the deep end, yeah, do get medication. But I'm the type of psychologist that I'm not a therapist, first and foremost, right? So read the disclaimer. Understand that this is a process that I went through myself. And so when people come to see me as a positive psychologist or counselor, I can guide them because I've been there before. And I don't think a lot of psychologists have really felt that. I mean, look at the mind-body optimization of this guy, right? Who's completely transformed his body using his mind and vice versa, right? When I was going through this spiritual journey, I would be totally in my head, right? In the beginning, totally in my mind, rather than learning embodiment. And embodiment is not a practice like a lot of coaches prescribe. I think it's a way of life. To live in the physical body and to actually be present with it and love it, irregardless of its aches and pains and little, quivers and whatever else we feel, man, little stabbing pains or whatever, right? We get this stuff as we grow older, like little back pain or little this and that. Like I'm experiencing that as well. However, that's just a reminder because the mind and body are interconnected technically. So if your body's showing you signs of tension, it is mental in its nature. It's psychosomatic. Okay? This is why a lot of people with anxiety, they feel a pulsating heart rate, or their hands are shaking, or they have digestive issues, or they feel this lump in the throat, right? You have to know what your resistance code is, my friends. What is your resistance code? Because your resistance code shows up in you very personally. And this is how you're going to get out of your depression. I'm telling you. It's lucky you found this video because, you'll go to other videos. Just relax. Just allow yourself to. Okay? They're going to skip over that shit. I'm going to tell it to you like it is because I've been there, man. This is what people need. This realness, this rawness, this authenticity, right? And I'm proud to sit here and say that I'm no longer depressed, that I'm able to look forward to my life again and get excited by the prospect of something emerging greater. And I found ways to love those parts of me that I hated so fucking badly. You know? I now give them a warm, charismatic, glowing, golden hug. I don't send them to the corner and banish them anymore. You see what I'm saying? My fear is my comrade. Let's move together, my friend. I am a peer to you, my fear. Okay? Mon frère. How do you say fear in French? Emily, how do you say fear in French? Yo, I'm going to be hosting a boot camp, a social dynamics boot camp in Delhi with IMC India. So if you guys are in Delhi in April, or if you're in Delhi, New Delhi in India in April, shoot me a message. Okay. Well, actually, shoot me a message right now. Shoot me a message right now because it will be too late. By the time I'm in Delhi, it'll already be an event and it'll be happening. So my advice would be to just, reach out to me now, get the signups now, and that way I can meet you in person, train with you. We're going to go to the nightclubs in Delhi, and I'm going to show you how this is done. This is the art of the flow state Jedi, the savage shaman, the social savage shaman, right? The one who goes into the environment and understands the tantric chemistry and the riz in the room, right? They understand they've merged with their environment. They are not no more separate from it, but they're creating and basking in their own aura and glow, right? So they're able to create that essence or that energy as soon as they are anywhere, as soon as they're anywhere. Like, it doesn't need to be even a club per se, right? You could be in a library, you could be at the beach, you could be at a gym, whatever it is, right? But you are just remaining authentic, remaining true to your energy. It's so powerful. I'm going to teach this in person, this Tantric Riz workshop. And I have been given the right recommendation from Yogi Chris, who is basically AZD's right-hand man, if you don't know. And we want to host more of these boot camps maybe every couple of months. So let's really meet in person. Let's start engaging as a tribe, see what we're all about, learn from each other, really form that brotherhood, but also that elite lifestyle level game, that social dynamics lifestyle where you're just engaging with people, and becoming fluid with this thing, becoming a Jeet Kune Do of spirituality, right? That you can tap into, that you can optimize. Okay. So I want you guys to really tap into that. It's a very powerful tech. But back to this topic of hand. So at hand, depression, right? Jim Carrey said it's a deep rest. You need to understand that if you're depressed, you're not expressing your true needs. I know that sounds very reductionist, but really think about this. You've been suppressing your true inner voice, correct? You've been suppressing your own inner voice, and it's finding no outlet for itself. So of course it's compressed, right? It's depressed, but it's compressed. It's pressed down upon. So the more that you can engage and amplify that aspect, it will start to take a power of its own. Okay? It will start to take on a life force of its own. If you allow it to rise to the surface and you deal with it there and you relax your nervous system, I'm not saying like weird shit that a lot of people do, like re-traumatizing people, or I believe in flooding, but here's my perspective on this, right? You want it to become something in your mind that alters your perception of it, and by altering the perception of it, you're going to change it ultimately for you, because there's certain things in this world in reality. I used to have this belief that everything happens for a reason, but sometimes, bro, I've noticed that some shit just happens without any reason, and I muscle test for everything, right, guys? So I'm very intuitive in that way, and I do use my healing powers to my own benefit. But I used to be one of those empaths who was just like merging with everything, no sense of boundary of self, you know what I mean? Just constantly just letting myself go into the container of other social environments and letting those people who are more social than me dominate the conversation and like speak over me, you know? And I felt intense social anxiety, bro. I remember I had to interact with relatives, and all my relatives, you can ask all my relatives, I swear to you, all of them said I was the quiet one. Why is he not talking? I swear to you, but that made me so key in terms of noticing observations in people. And maybe you're like this too, right? But I had to toughen myself up through this journey, right? I was going into spirituality without this fire in the belly. I was going about it in a way to kind of escape, right? I would call it transcendence, but it was really escapism. But transcendence is being able to feel and perceive the lowest as well as the highest, right? And so you're going through the levels, you're transcending, but it doesn't mean you're dissociating. It doesn't mean that you're cutting yourself off from the power, Like when we're cutting cords with someone, it's not that our entire love is tarnished. No, it's just the attachment cord has been cut. You see what I'm saying? So it's like you have to really understand how to do this thing, man. And I know there's a lot of mixed messages out there and contradictory messages out there, but you have to really trust in yourself. You know how to get yourself out of this dark hole, right? You know that if you start taking positive momentum and positive action steps, even if you feel anhedonian in the moment, even if it doesn't feel good, right? It will slowly start to stack. And any exercises, any movement exercises, I would start getting into your body again, because through the sedentary lifestyle and stagnation, you start to become more and more and more isolated and in your own world and inwards, and just kind of journaling and then trying to, heal yourself. But is your life an entire healing journey, or are you completely healed now, moving forward through more levels of healing? It's like, yo, I'm already healed now from a lot of my past, right? But I still have more healing to do. It doesn't mean that I have to stop, I have to make all my identity around healing and being a healer. No, it's like I have to embrace an ideal, right? And let that ideal be my guiding principles. If I understand that the ideal doesn't lead me to where I need to go, I need to shift ideals. I need to shift roles. I need to shift avatars. And that's what I've been doing, slowly peering through the edge and understanding that this is the character that I most need to be in this specific moment, that is my most authentic, most powerful, most true, most wise, most loving. What would the most loving and wisest version of me do right now, or be right now? Right? Think about it. What would it feel like? Imagine if you didn't have this depression. What would that feel like? Probably the opposite of what you're doing now. So if you've been closing yourself up like this, why not power pose and expand yourself out? Do the complete opposite. Shock your system with the opposite. And understand that you have a choice in this thing, and you have to be kinder and gentler to yourself. Okay? You're being too critical and harsh. You're the man, or you're the chica. I know you are, right? You've been crushing it since day one. You've been through 100% of your most darkest days on this planet, and you're still breathing and living and crushing it, right? You're doing so well. In fact, I don't even need to write you some kind of recommendation certification, okay? In order for you to even actualize that. You know it. You know it in the deepest crevices of your core. You can feel it through your bones, as some coaches would say, right? Feel it through my bones. Okay? And that's the thing, right? You remain in the sad state. People are giving you attention, care, caressing you. But it's also reminding you that you're sad and you're a little weakling. And they're coming up to you from pity, right? And they're doing this fake niceness and kindness to you, but the moment you're okay again, it's like they're going to treat you like that, right? And so it's like you now understand that me acting like this in this depressed, sad state is actually beneficial for me because I don't have to do anything, because everything is handed to me, because I can stay in this repetitive pattern, So it's like you really have to understand yourself better. Even in the moments of self-sabotage, you have to be loving to yourself. You have to be loving to yourself even when you're self-sabotaging and you know it, right? You know it but then again, it's like, are you really shaming who you are still? Are you still shaming who you are? This is what I understood, guys. I made my life a performance art piece. I was playing the hero to a certain point until I realized I needed to become the artist because the hero is trapped by its boundaries and doctrines and, principles and all these things. And I can transcend concepts. I can tap into these infinite states of being, right? So the artist allows myself to feel into its sacral nature, and that is my path working. You see what I'm saying? So, but the hero allows me to access the solar plexus energy of movement, of flux, right? Of the universe in motion. So understand that both of those coming together is going to create a powerful vortex for you as you start growing through this thing and glowing through this thing. Growing and glowing, growing and glowing. Hey, growing and glowing, skirt, growing and glowing. Somebody needs to sample that and make that into like a hit, baby. A hit, baby. Okay. So, what was I talking about? Ah, yes, the upward spiral gang. Yes, quite. So, the upward spiral gang, right? You are going inwards and upwards within this journey. It is a kundalini rising. Okay? It's a kundalini rising. So, it is your lowermost basal energy you have to first tap into. That's why we call it Primal Sutra. You got to start from the root. You got to get back to the origin. If you're doing shadow work, you got to deal with origins. That's where the ancestral healing and stuff comes in to a lot of this healing stuff, right? Origins are important to understand, but it's also understanding that there's generational connections as well, right? So this inwards upward spiral, okay, upward spiral gang is this idea that you're just going through the levels of this life. This life is like a video game or a school. Okay, it's a school simulation. You can think of it like this. You are going to graduate to different levels of consciousness. Right now, you're on one stage of consciousness where you feel depressed. So you'll start exploring what this depression means to you. Who are you, depression? You externalize it. You realize that this depression maybe is like a black cloud or a dark ghost or, a demonic, devilish being. It could be, some kind of I want you to actually imagine it separate from you because then you can work with it. Okay? Then you can have your depression like kind of tap you into spite, right? And drag you to the gym. Okay? By actually committing day to day, moment to moment, to feel embodied. I'm here now. I'm not in the past. That was then, now is now. I understand myself now much clearer, much better. I can see clearly now. The rain has gone, right? That is the energy. So as you feel into this energy right now, you're feeling the eminence of this fantasy to reality. The emanation, okay, of the imaginary world, sometimes putting you into delusion, or this imaginary world that's becoming this beautiful construct of life, this real-time poem that you're writing, this real-time artwork that's being generated, and your entire life is beauty, truth, poetry, and you appreciate every moment. Even the darkest, dingiest parts of your consciousness that seem repulsive and vile are blossoming with the same beauty, the same source, the same power. And so, really, if you think about it, going back to source, going back to oneness is a cure for panic attacks and is a cure for feeling disconnected. So, you, in the dark night of the soul, maybe you're watching this right now and you're like, fuck this, dude, right? I don't even want to watch this far. But you still stayed and you're still listening because there's something here. I want you to understand something, okay? Your depression is not an identity, okay? It does not need to be your limit, your barrier towards experiencing this life fully. You just feel trapped, you feel like you have no choice, and you feel helpless. And everywhere you look, nobody wants to give you the help. They just want to give you a pill, a shortcut, a quick roadmap, a get-rich-quick scheme, right? But to hold someone's hand through the darkness and bring them through, this is what I do, guys, right? I understand this. Like, you got to be able to see in the dark. You get what I mean? Not actually with night vision goggles, but metaphorically. You got to understand that you're crying, right? That it's dark, but you have your hands over your eyes. You see, that's Vivekananda right there, bro. He says, take away the hands from your eyes and understand it was light all along. That's the same thing that I'm saying is you don't have to keep perpetuating this stereotype version of depression and what it is. By using spirituality, inner work, self-knowledge, you can move away from that and create your own unique blend of how you handle sadness or this bittersweet feeling of melancholy. Okay? So that's what I'm saying is you got to be a little bit of a culinary chef. Okay? You can go and look everything online. You can do EFT tapping online for depression, right? You can take a bunch of pills. You can, go to a seminar retreat, do an ayahuasca retreat and come back or something, right? Like you can do so many things. And yet, the mind is the prison, right? The mind is the prison. And there's no one way that handles it all. We try that at Primal Sutra. That's how we think, by the way, guys. One move that does it all. One way, one path, one right move. Ding! Hits all of the things, right? I understand that. And that's what we strive for. We strive for that, and we still understand that. And we have a process for that. But you have to understand these subtle sensations and emotions and feelings, man. Because when you're depressed, you just have inaccurate thinking. You don't think straight. You're just like, yeah, it's always going to be like that in that darkness. And that statement, corrodes you inside, like some kind of a melancholy song, and you're drowning in these, dark waters of your inner abyss, of your consciousness. Instead of what? Learning how to swim, learning how to take the boat back, right? How to stay afloat during this, how to create guidance systems, strategies, right? And so you just need some positive encouragement in the right direction, right? That's what really a lot of people who are feeling depressed and down, and they're like, I don't know, nothing is interesting to me anymore, bro. Like literally nothing, right? So the interest comes through the curiosity, which is actually very subconscious, right? So you doing little activities that are repetitive but non-taxing, that don't use any of your actual energy and effort to get it done, but you can get it done, and it's like rhythmic, robotic, trance-like, occupational therapy, doing things around the house, cleaning, or just moving things, or doing everything in a meditative way as you start to move throughout your day, right? You become more mindful again. You start being more wired in. Maybe you start meditating, start becoming more conscious, right? And eventually the cloud that seems like a dark cloud starts to just fade and fade and fade slowly, right? It's there in the background, but you have to speak to it. You have to know how to use it. So that's the thing. Look at your depression as a spirit guide. Understand that that sadness to you is very unique. It is not like anybody else's sadness on this planet. It has taken on its own energy, own frequency, and the way that create neurochemicals in your brain, and the lifestyle you have, the thoughts that you keep ruminating on. All of these things will have a factor into how that plays into this. But let me tell you this. If you were to really do this thing, right, and understand some strategies on how to do this thing, it might change the way that you've been doing this thing. Okay. One of the strategies is to understand what I call TPM, or this acting tech, right? And if you can tap in and understand this, and you can understand Primal Sutra technology, and you can learn how to use it, you can take yourself up like an ice cream scoop from the darkness, bro. Like an ice cream, like a really nice flavor of ice cream, right? You're scooping it up, and you're like, damn, right from the bottom of the ice cream box or whatever it's called, right? The freezer. And you really have to understand that you have your own unique flavor of depression that manifests in different ways. The way you self-harm might be just through tattoos, right? Rather than actual, hurting yourself in that way. It's like you've given yourself an outlet for that, right? So it's like you really know yourself the best, man, you know? And through self-awareness, you'll slowly start to heal yourself, you know? And if you feel like you're a gone case, I'm a lost case, I'm always going to be like this, that's just depressive thinking. That's what it does to you. Okay. So you have to shock your way of thinking, my friends. You have to take on alternate perspectives and take them on as thought experiments, my friend. You have to allow yourself to decipher and feel into your internal happiness. You see, when I was growing up, man, I just couldn't talk to girls. I just get rejected and rejected. And then I went in to get rejected, and I started getting girls. And I was like, what the, right? So that resistance was a big part of it. So once I understood I had these tools, right? Like I learned mystery method before, going to college and so forth. And I would use these lines, right? And I would get these the attention of tall Russian girls, or very I would say during that time I would be like, she's out of my league, right? However, I got results, and I got results merely based on the fact that I was playing. I started to actually enjoy myself, bro. You see, every time that I got a woman's attention, I was in my flow. The first time I had a girlfriend, I was performing on stage. I told her to play the guitar. Random chick in the audience. My first girlfriend. Secondly, okay, I'd started then just hooking up with girls, trying that out. Thirdly, I got a friends with benefits kind of awkward situation happening, okay? Where that's what actually, here's what happened, right? Through that situation, I actually finally got laid and lost my virginity in college, right? And then, and I had kind of fabricated the whole thing, I remember, right? I was like telling her, it's not my first time. I'm like a champion or whatever. And I remember still like the feeling of tension and needing to perform and being in that certain mindset. But what you got to understand is that reflects towards my core wound, survival and needs, right? There's a reason why this had to wait for this long, for my mind to transfix and create certain circumstances for myself, right? But once I understood, man, I'm a smooth talker. I got the riz. The first message that I received when I lost my virginity was, "Do you want to play?" And I think that's very evident towards me understanding that the feminine loves to just play. Girls just want to have fun, right? And that's the thing, right? Like, I think we forget that as men. We become too serious, too much full of gravitas and intellect, and we put our nose to the books and try to suppress and edit and snip away all this reality from us. Go curl into a ball and be in our man cave until we, drink ourselves to death. That is the ultimate male dark fantasy, right? Is just be a monk, go to the woods, away from everything. I'm a cut wood with my bare hands. I'm gonna go on Survivor. Okay. So that's the thing, though. Like, I understand now that the power of survival. Earlier, I was at the brunt of it. I was surviving. Now I can harness my sensitivity as an intuitive weapon. How to harness that empathy in such a way that I deeply connect with my students and really feel them and understand them, Not this superficial thing that, hey, bro, let's go out, we'll have a couple of drinks and, okay? That's cool too. That's fun. I I remember once I went out. Monsi remembers this. They dared me to dance on the table. I put my shirt in my mouth and dance on the table. I did it. So what? That's the rebellious nature I have, bro. So I'm like a hermit opportunist, right? You call me out to a party, I'll show up in hermit gear. I'll be all suited up, boom, ready to go, man. Right? But it's not a natural thing I do. It's just go to parties, right? I have to be summoned there. But I've understood that character by learning about me, bro. That's the thing. I have to revel in the beauty and the glory that is the divine within me, right? The more you become atheist and cut yourself off from spirituality, you take on this Sam Cooke, Jordan Peterson style of cutthroat, dangerous logic, and you cut yourself off from the divine and start to question it, like, was this man really right? Would I really accept Christ or Krishna or Buddha? Okay. I think if you take into consideration, you have to understand that the intelligence and luxury and the memory of the masculinities and the positive attitude of the second archetype that you belong to. Okay. And the metaphysical aspect of it is because, okay. So it's like a lot of people are becoming very scientifically attuned, correct? And I am a man of science. Positive psychology is a science. Remember, a lot of people don't consider it that. But to me, happiness is a science. The joy in living and breathing in the air and really feeling things is a blessing. To me, as a sensitive individual, I can go and smell the flowers and enjoy it to the depths of my ability, but I understand I cannot be around this toxic person much longer because I feel every single bead of sweat that's coming from them. I smell them. I engage with them. I completely envelop myself in their world. And that is why you as an empath have to claim and reclaim your power back. I have my vortex. I have my shield of white light, divine white light from the source, protecting me at all times. And I know I can use the assistance of a legion of these different beings to assist me along this blackening or melanosis period of my life where I'm just crumbling down to the lowest echelons of my existence. You see? So this is really what you've got to understand, is you're not really drowning in this. You're just falling endlessly into an abyss. Okay? But you need some, whoa, you need somewhere to land on. Some idea, some concept, you know? I used stoicism. Okay, so I use stoicism to ground myself, make myself basically more mentally tough and strong. I use Taoism to let go more and surrender to the moment more, right? So I have that deep level of joy and presence. I used Hinduism for the fact that I love the non-attachment aspect of Hinduism and the Gita, and I love tapping into these different avatars of gods and so forth. I love the fact that you can have several gods to, or deities, devas we call them. It's not the actual one god, but they are source, contact points of source, you could say, right? As you look at them symbolically and metaphorically and learning about that, right? And then you have the Buddha, who has this incredible level of just being a refuge, like somewhere where you can go, right, in your heart space or somewhere where you can understand that, hey, I'm fully protected, I'm secure, I'm taken care of, right? And so if you're ever struggling right now through your depression, try and reach out and just start sending positive energy to one of these higher level ascended masters or beings, right? Babaji is an example, okay? Sanat Kumara, you can send it to Saint Germain, you can send it to Jesus Christ himself, Christ is King. You can send it to Lord Vishnu, okay? It really depends, and it's according to you what you want to do with this thing, right? But I understand. Clean, pure, unfiltered I feel, the more I heal. You see what I'm saying? The less reactionary I am, and I'm like, that doesn't really affect me that much. I wouldn't have reacted in that way, you know? I have this level of zen and calm that keeps me submerged in the deep waters of my subconscious. But I know, observing my parents, I have this anger and this anxiety within me, okay? This fight or flight. Mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm. This fight or flight mode, we call it, or freeze mode as well, right? What is the solution? Bonding and socializing, feeling connected, feeling grateful, understanding that there's a different way to look at this than the way you have been. It doesn't have to be like that. You choose for it to be like that. So coming back to your own power again, you understand that not everybody has the opportunity to do things the way that you do. My friends, my comrades, in this astral quest that we call life, I want you to blend with that part of you that is your ideal and become one with it. Become one with it. Just like you're mixing wine with water. But understand, if the wine is toxic and I put more and more water into it, eventually there will just be water. Very less wine, you see. So purification, surrendering and seeing yourself as all archetypes. Padmasambhava saved me in this regard. King, warrior, magician, lover. I can be all. I can be the lover. I can have sex if I want to, okay, when I choose to. I'm the warrior. I'm the fighter. I'm engaging in combat, okay? I can get things handled. I'm like a general, right? I'm the magician or the mystic. I can use the tools and the technologies in the right ways. I can use the strategies in the right ways. I have the little bag of tricks that Felix does, right? And then finally, the king, which is the bedrock of this thing, right? And as a woman, if you're just listening, it's like the archetypes could be seen as feminine archetypes as well. Okay. So it would be huntress, instead of warrior. It'd be lover stays the same, lover. And then you'd have king and queen, So, okay. What is Kara saying? Want from me, Mother Earth. Bow now, ow, bow man. Okay. I don't know what that means, bro, but I'll consider it. Okay, cool. So let's wrap this up right now. Okay, we've almost reached a full hour in this thing, a long live stream here. But I really want you guys to emphasize and understand this thing, right? This upward spiral, gang, it's more than a mentality. It's a lifestyle. It's a philosophy. It's a way of living, embodied, completely, physically. You feel with your grounded self, one, at one, centered. Like you're at the center of the merry-go-round, right? Well, not the merry-go-round, right? Yeah, merry-go-round, not the Ferris wheel, right? Center of the merry-go-round, right? You're looking at the chaos of the world just spin, but you are completely at your core, at your center, which is why the 0 point is where you can press pause in this video game and actually take your power back. So just start meditating daily. I'm telling you right now, go outside, start working out, meditate daily, okay? I want you to start affirming things to your mind that are super positive. Find affirmations online, stoic affirmations online. Play them before sleep. Listen to subliminals across the day. If you want my help and my therapy, I can give you the very specific sound files that's going to boom, 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 rapidly shift you out of the depression. And I've done this multiple times through multiple timelines for multiple people. Okay, so again, all my clients, you can read all of my feedback on practo.com as well. That's for doctors, right? And actually, people call me a doctor, but I'm on that doctor app as a positive psychologist. So understand, people call me coach, but some people just call me doctor, right? And doctor is a healer, a medicine man. And I was meant to be a doctor in this life, right? Because my parents are doctors and so forth. But I'm just a different kind of doctor. You see what I'm saying? A lot of the times when you think of doctor, you think of a person in a lab coat, trying to, diagnose you, figure you out, and then give you some form of a fix-it, right? I'm talking about someone who submerges and understands that hidden world enough for you to like really interpret your dreams with you, guide you along the path where you feel this is missing or this is not working, right? That is the role of the healer. It is that Chiron energy of the wounded healer. I am the wounded healer. I was the wounded healer, in fact, but now I'm more into my Apollo Golden Shadow era, right? I'm slowly rising up with that, right? I don't know if you guys have watched this right? Light worker. Look at that body, bro. That's me now, right? You saw me earlier. This is what I did. A guy who's so in his head transformed his body through what? Discipline, decision making, optimizing my masculine energy and polarity, understanding I can be confident with myself. I don't need to depend on anybody else for my happiness. But happiness is the way, and I know the way because I am the way. I am the pathless path. And yes, it took me a little bit of time before doing all this experimental stuff and like bioenergetics and biokinesis and all this kind of stuff, right? That you're hearing about and maybe even doubting and maybe even skeptical about. I'm 100% open to that. But if you feel any itch, any urgency, any thing to reach out to me and share your experience with me too, I would be happy to have a conversation with you. Let's talk. Let's dive in. This is about completely guiding those lost souls in this life back into their wholeness and supernatural nature again. You are not a light worker, you are a light master. Why? Because the master is the one that they come to. They do not come to the slave. They do not come to the slave. They come to the master, in fact, because the master, you know what, does it in spite of them. You know, when we started Primal Sutra, just me and Ryan. We're just doing it together, right? Let's heal each other, bro. Let's fucking go through this process. Let's figure it out. Let's talk to these deities. Let's get it done. That's that masculine urge or that energy, right? To optimize, to maximize this game. Because the way that we've observed it in the spiritual communities is like it's not working for us, right? So we got to find our way. And our way is not your way, perhaps, but we can guide and speak and resonate, and there can be some echo chamber around it, right? You can start to get to know us better and actually start to work with us instead of what? Judging us. Oh, that shit's gay. Yeah, healing is kind of whack, man. I don't know. That stuff's not for me. I've tried therapy before. I mean, you stay in that reality then, my friend. Okay? If you're that attached to that version of you that is depressed and actually you are addicted to your sadness and feeling that way and you don't feel good feeling good, then we need to have a conversation, okay? For real. For real. And I'm not here to, bark at you like some kind of a, military drill sergeant. This is just my dad energy, picking up and understanding these young men are so fucking lost. They're confused. And if they can get a way out of that confusion, they can understand to make it their enjoyment again, they will completely eradicate that darkness that seems to be all-consuming and all-powerful. Okay? I'm not saying for you to turn to God. I'm saying that it's already within you. You are that. You are not God, but you are a splice of the fractal, my friend, having it through your unique self-experience. And that is why you are here to blend with your own inner nirvana again. Okay? Enlightenment now, not the future. I'm not going to procrastinate on my enlightenment. I'm enlightened now, and whatever else may enlighten me along the way, even if I'm enlightened, I am happy to receive it. Think about like different clouds in the sky, right? I am the sky, motherfucker. As many clouds show up again and again and again, I know that I am the sky. It could rain, it could storm, it could hail, it could, be random changes of weather. It doesn't take away from the fact that I'm the sky, the all-encompassing, the Horus. You see? So be mindful about the Horus or the hours of your day, okay? Because really, the time that you give yourself a wake-up time and a lockdown time. And in between, you want to create little pathways of release for you, emotional release, physical release, spiritual release, okay? And you just time these in throughout your days. And then what? Certain days, you do rituals, okay? You just light a candle with an intention. Powerful. It's just, easy, very easy. You can carve sigils on it. You can do whatever you want with it, right? You can make it personal to you. That's what I'm saying, right? You can make this relationship to that higher power, to that source that holds us when we fall, right? The safety net of the blanket of divine love that gently nestles and caresses us. That is the energy you need to tap into, my friend. And let me tell you, that can come through even the light and gentle touch of somebody, a complete stranger. And it can come through just a little mini moment, but you have to pay attention now. Now it's time to turn your system back online. Okay? You're a chakra cyborg in this thing, and you're ready to take control and understand that you are what you've always dreamt of. You are him. You are her. You are that man or woman. You are that person. You are them. You already are. Now it's time to stop remaining dormant with this energy. It's time to bring out that internal fuel again. That internal combustion of all of these dark thoughts just forming a deep suppressive guilt with it. You let it shine. You send it so much love that it pops like a piñata and it flourishes all of those dark thoughts outside of you. That is the imagery. I am constantly at war with that part of me, not knowing that it is my comrade and it wants the best for me. So sit down with your depression, have a conversation. What's really going on, man? What's really going on today? Why are you like this? No one cares about me, and I don't know if I will, and I don't know if you will, and okay. First of all, you said nobody cares about you. I doubt that that's the truth, because first and foremost, you can't even see or recognize the spiritual world that cares about you, because you keep numbing it away. You see how I'm speaking to my depression now? Depression is going, well, I guess, I mean, what are we going to do? Just get ourselves up. We can go get a coffee. You open for that? I guess a coffee would be nice, but then it would be nice to have a girlfriend too. I mean, listen, we get the coffee and then we worry about the girlfriend, okay? Doesn't matter. You see the calmness and the depth of my voice and the conversation that I'm having with my depression internally? You see that? That is what you need to do. You need to have a little conversation with yourself. People will be like, what, he's talking to himself? You do this in your own internal world. You close your eyes. You imagine like a chat conversation with that sadness within, with that dark cloud within. What does it manifest as? Maybe it's a little, maybe it's a golden skull with like, make it look cool as shit, right? We used to love to do this as children, right? Like choose a video game character and then modify it. Like this is why my younger clients, bro, they're so engaged in this process and they're leveling themselves up because they're gamifying their life. They're making it fun again, right? It's not this mundane, okay, self-journaling, every single day until 3 things I'm grateful for, 3 things I'm grateful for. Right? Most positive psychologists is just focusing on 3 things I'm grateful for. But let me tell you this, what if gratitude was through all of your senses, right? Through all of your senses. That would be a completely different experience of gratitude because it would be embodied. And you would actually feel, you know what? Coherence. Your mind and heart would be at one. You wouldn't be so much in your logical mind, so much in your emotional mind. There would be a nice inner equilibrium of peace. So understand the peace is the norm. This is the reservoir. This is the retreat. And I can retreat into the Buddha or Christ or anybody, Allah. I can allow myself to blend into that area and merge with it. Not have any secrets from it. Not try to pretend and be a certain way around it. But fully being neutral, empty, pure, allowing it to guide us like an invisible substrate that cleans your soul and makes you reborn. Welcome to your new life, and I hope this video shaped and shaked something up for you. I truly do. You have my blessings, and I hope you have an incredible rest of your day or night, wherever it is you're tuning in from. Let me know where you're tuning in from in the world. This has been a 1-hour live stream, baby. We did it. We did it. I can do this all day. Let's go. I should be a streamer, huh? We'll see about that. Maybe kick.com soon. You already know. Peace. May you never be the same again. Us.